Hello viewers, welcome to National Examinations Council NECO 2021 Past Questions and Detailed Solution General Mathematics Paper 3 Objective Test Questions 1 to 60 Solution to 60 questions in one video. Question 1. Express 0.001025 in standard form. Solution. For a number to be written in standard form, the decimal point is usually after the first non-zero number from left, that is 1. For the point to be between 1 and 0, you need to move it about 3 times. When the movement is taking place, you multiply it by 10. Now, the power to base 10 is negative when the movement is forward, that is from left to right. So here, the power is negative, and it is 3 because the point is moved about 3 times to get to where it is. By this, the correct option is C, that is 1.025 times 10 to the power of minus 3. Question 2. Find the positive difference between rounding off this number to the nearest billion and million. Solution. Let us take to the nearest billion. The digit in the billion position is 3. The next one is 8. It is more than 5. You round it up to 1. If you add 1 to 3, it becomes 4. So you have 4 billion. To the nearest million, the digit in the position of million is 7. The next digit after it is 9. It is more than 5. You round it up to 1 and you add it to 7. It becomes 8. So you have 3,848,000,000. Next thing is to get the positive difference, and that is 152 million. B is the correct option. Question 3. Evaluate this expression. Here, we need to convert the decimal numbers to ordinary fractions. 0.3 becomes 3 over 10. 0.09 is equivalent to 9 over 100. As you are doing that, you also need to change negative power to positive, and because this is a fraction, if you interchange the position of the numerator and denominator, the power becomes positive in this form. Power of 1 over 2 means square root. So square root of 81 over 1, you have 9 over 1. So let's change this division line to division sign. So you divide by 3 over 10 times. This power also means square root. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 100 is 10. Anytime we are to divide fractions, division sign is always converted to multiplication. Then you invert the fraction at the right side in this form. Here, 3 cancel 3, 10 cancel 10. you are left with 9 over 1, and that is 9. B is the correct option. Question 4, simplify this times this. To proceed, you need to convert the decimal numbers to ordinary fraction. This number is equivalent to 27 over 1000, while 0.09 is equivalent to 9 over 100. Next, let us try to convert this power to positive. You simply interchange the position of the numerator and denominator in this fraction, and you have this. As you are doing that, you can check the cube root of this fraction. Cube root of 27 is 3. Cube root of 1000 is 100. So, sorry, is 10. Cube root of 1000 is 10. The same 3 over 10 is what you have here. In this place, if you factor out power 3, what you have there is 1 over 2, which means square root. So square root of 100 over 9 is 10 over 3 to the power of 3. Now, let us factor out 10 power 3 from this place so that it can remove this from us. Can remove this for us. Now, power here is 3. If you factor out 1 out, so you have 10 over 3, then power of 2 is remaining. So 10 cancel 10, 3 cancel 3. Now, if you check the options very well, this is not there. But the one close to it is this. You can only achieve this by interchanging the position of 10 and 3 to 3 over 10. As you are doing that, the power changes from positive to negative. So A is the correct option. Question 5. A particular bank paid 50 kobo dividend per share. What would be the percentage yield for a customer who invested 5 naira per share? For a customer who invested 5 naira per share? Question mark. We need to have the same unit, kobo and naira. So let's convert 5 naira to kobo. It is equivalent to 500 kobo. Now, the question is resting on 5 naira, which is equivalent to 500 kobo. It becomes the denominator. So percentage yield becomes 50 kobo over total amount invested in kobo 500 times 100%, and that simplifies to 10. E is the correct option. Question 6. Simplify 1.6 times 0.0084 over 0.0048 and leave your answer in standard form. Solution. To do this without calculator, you have to express all the numbers as whole numbers. Of course, you know, anytime the point is being moved, you always multiply by base 10. If you are moving forward, the power is negative to the number of times the point is moved, and if you are moving backward, the power is positive. If you do that movement, you have this result. If you simplify, from here we have 84 is remaining, and that is because you divide 16 and 48 by 16, you have 3 remaining. By the law of indices, simplify this and this, you have this result, then this follows. If you divide 84 by 3, you have 28. By the same law of indices, precisely division law, if you apply it, you have this result. When you simplify, you have this first. Now, in standard form, the point is always between the first non-zero number from the left, that is 2. So you have to move the point backward from where it is, although it is invisible, to this point. When the point is being moved, you multiply by 10. The power is positive because the movement was done to the left, that is backward movement, and it is once, so the power is 1. When you simplify this, you have 2.8 times 10 to the power of 0. C is the correct option. Question 7. The cost of a motorbike is 110,000 naira. If the value depreciates by 10% yearly, what will be its value at the beginning of the following year? So let us get depreciation value, that is 10% of the cost, and that is 11,000 naira. Value of the motorbike at the beginning of the following year is depreciation minus the cost, and that is 99,000 naira. You subtract the amount of depreciation from the cost, you have 99,000 naira. C is the correct option. Question 8. A and B are sets such that the number of elements in set A equal to 26, set B 19. The number of elements in the intersection of the two sets is equal to 11. Find the number of elements in the union of the two sets. Solution. In set theory, the union of two sets is expressed in this form. Set A, number of elements 26 plus number of elements in set B 19 minus the intersection, that is 45 minus 11, you have 34. B is the correct option. Question 9. If 2y to the power of 1 over 4 minus 5 is equal to minus 1, find the value of y. This is the given problem. Let us collect like terms by transferring minus 5 to the right hand side. You have this result. If you subtract the right hand side, you have this result. If you divide through by 2, you have y power 1 over 4 is equal to 2. Now, to remove power of 1 over 4, which means fourth roots from y, you need to take the power of 4. You need to apply power of 4 to both sides in order to remove fourth roots. You have it in this form. So the power of 4 here helps to remove 1 over 4 from here, and y is equal to 2 power 4. You do that on both sides, and y is equal to 16. D is the correct option. Question 10. Solve the equation. This equation is exponential. Let us take the solution. Now, this is the given problem. You need to convert 0.25 to ordinary fraction. That is 25 over 100. Now, we have the left hand side. If you divide 1 by 25 over 100, it becomes 100 over 25 in this form. You know, this is like inverse. So the inverse or reciprocal of 25 over 100 is 100 over 25. This simplifies to 4. Now, let us square both sides to clear power of half. To remove power of half from here, you need to take the square of both sides. So you have this result. Square of 4 is 16. You can express 16 to base 4 in this form. The bases are the same. If you equate them, the powers are left. To get s, divide both sides by 3. You have 4 over 3, and that is one whole number, 1 over 3. C is the correct option. Question 11. How many years will 100,000 naira amount to 180,000 naira at 5% simple interest per annum? Solution. This question requires you to find the time in years, but the simple interest is also needed. From the question, principal is 100,000, amount is 180,000, rate 5%, the interest is unknown, the time is also unknown. From amount equal to principal plus interest, we can get the interest easily. This is amount, this is principal plus interest. If you make interest the subject, you have 180,000 minus 100,000 equal to interest, and interest becomes 80,000. Back to the simple interest formula where we can get the time. The interest is 80,000 equal to principal times rate times time over 100. The rate is 5. The principal is 100,000. You can reduce 2 zeros. You are left with 80,000 equal to 1,000 times 5 times t. To get t, divide both sides by the product of 1,000 and 5. You have it in this form. After simplification, you have 80 over 5, and that gives 16 years. B is the correct option. Question 12. If matrix B is equal to this, determine the transpose of B. The transpose of B is denoted by B power t, and it is the matrix obtained by interchanging or switching rows and columns of the matrix. When you are doing it, it's either you go by row wise and you maintain it all through, or you go by column wise, you don't miss it. So let's take the first row and make it the first column. You take the second row and make it the second column. You take the third row and you make it the third column. You have C as the correct option, the transpose of matrix B. Question 13. If y is a whole number such that 3y plus 4 is equivalent to 7 modulo 8, find the value of y. Solution. This is a given equation. You transfer plus 4 to the right and you have it in this form. If you subtract, you get this result. Divide through by 3. What you are dealing with is this. If you divide through by 3, you have y equivalent to 1 modulo 8. Now 1 is an element in modulo 8, so y is equal to 1. Now assuming this 1 is 9, for instance, 9 is not an element in modulo 8, and as such you divide 9 by 8 and you rake up the remainder. But in this case, the 1 that you have there is an element in modulo 8, so no further operation is needed. A is the correct option. Question 14. The third and seventh terms of a geometric progression are 72 and 8/9 respectively. Find the first term. Anytime you have problems like this, it always leads to a system of equation. If it is an AP, you have linear equations. If it is a GP, as you have in this form, you have non-linear equation. You are asked to find the first term. Now we go by the nth term formula of a geometric progression. You have the third term is 72. At this point, n is equal to 3. So the third term is equal to this. First term and common ratio are unknown. You replace n with 3. The third term is 72 equal to a arrow squared. You call that equation 1. The seventh term is 8/9. At this point, n is equal to 7. So for the seventh term, you replace n with 7 in this form. The seventh term is 8/9 equal to a arrow power 6. You can call that equation 2. Whenever the equations are non-linear, you divide the two equations. Because the power of arrow in equation 2 is higher, let us divide equation 2 by 1 side by side. So left hand side of equation 2 divide by that of equation 1. You have it in this form. Right hand side of equation 2 divide by that of equation 1. You have it in this form. If you change this sign to multiplication, you invert this fraction to this. From here, a cancel a. If you divide arrow power 6 by arrow power 2, you have arrow power 4. If you simplify the left hand side, you have 1/81 equal to arrow power 4. To get arrow, you need to take the fourth root of 1/81. and that is 1/3. To get A, you need to substitute the value of arrow into any of the equations. I'm taking equation 1. This is equation 1. You replace arrow by 1/3 and you square it because arrow is squared here. That gives 72 equal to 1/9A. To get A, multiply through by 9. So A is equal to 72 times 9, and that is 648. B is the correct option. Question 15. In a class of 30 students, every student has at least a ruler. If 25 students have white rulers and 20 students have yellow rulers, how many students have rulers of both colors? That is intersection. From the question, there are two subsets. Let W and Y denote white and yellow rulers respectively. Now, the total number of students that have both rulers, that is the union, is equal to 30. Those that have only white ruler, 25. Those that have only yellow ruler, 20. Those that have both, unknown. From set theory, the union of two sets can be expressed in this form. So you represent the various parts with their respective values except for the intersection. You transfer the intersection to the left, it becomes positive. If you add these two, you have 45. You transfer plus 30, it becomes minus 30. When you subtract, you have 15. That is option D. Alternatively, you can as well use Venn diagram to get the intersection. Using Venn diagram, you have the union equal to 30. Elements in set W, you have 25. Set Y, you have 20. Intersection is S. So this is the intersection. Only W is 25 minus intersection. Then only Y is 20 minus intersection. The union is 30. If you add everything in the subsets or in the universal set, you equate it to 30. That is what you have here. Addition of this, this, and this equal to 30 minus S plus S is 0. 25 plus 20, you have 45 minus S equal to 30. You transfer minus S to the right, it becomes plus S. You transfer plus 30 to the left and it becomes minus. Therefore, S is equal to 15. The same option D. Question 16. Find, 5 numbers form a geometric progression GP if the second and the fifth are 9 and 243 respectively. Find the common ratio. This is like one of the previous questions. You have the nth term. Now, at the second term, n is 2. So you replace n with 2. In the nth term formula, the second term is 9. So 9 is equal to a arrow. You call that equation 1. At the fifth term, you replace n with 5 in the nth term formula. The fifth term is 243. equal to a arrow power 4. Divide equation 2 by 1 in this form. That simplifies to 27 equal to arrow cube. To get arrow, you need to get the cube roots of both sides. So arrow is equal to cube root of 27, and that is 3. D is the correct option. Question 17. The first and last terms of an arithmetic progression are minus 2a and 38a respectively. The first and last terms. Determine the number of terms if its common difference is 5a. Solution. In arithmetic progression, the last and the nth terms are the same. So the nth term t sub n equal to L, the last term equal to a first term plus bracket open n number of terms minus 1 bracket close times d common difference. You replace the respective parameters with what they stand for except for n. If you transfer this term first, you have it in this form. After addition, you have you have 40a. Here is 38, not 32. So after addition, you have 40a equal to this. Divide through by 5a. So you have 8 equal to n minus 1. You transfer minus 1 to the left hand side. It becomes 8 plus 1 equal to n. And n is equal to 9. C is the correct option. Question 18. On Clara's 10th birthday, she began to save 2,000 naira every year in a kid savings account with an annual interest rate of 20% compounded annually. What will be the worth, that is the amount, worth of account when she turns 18? Solution. The amount she kept on depositing is the principal, the rate 20%, n is 8 because from 10 to 18 the difference is 8. The amount compounded annually is obtained using this formula. You replace principal with 2,000, the interest with, that is rate, the rate with 20, and n is 8. That simplifies to this and this. If you check 1.2 power 8, you have this result. You multiply it by 2,000 and that gives this. To 2 decimal places, you have 8,599 naira 63 kobo. That is option A. Question 19. The cost C of a car service is partly constant and partly varies with the time t it takes to do the work. If it costs 500 naira for a service of 2 hours, or for a 2 hours service, and 300 naira for an hour service, find the cost of 3-hour service. This is partial variation. This expression represents the statement from the first line. When C is 500, T is 2, you have equation 1. When C is 300 and T is equal to 1, you have equation 2. So the constants A and B are needed before the cost can be obtained. You need to solve both equations simultaneously using elimination method for the constants before the cost can be obtained. Subtract both equations to eliminate A. That gives 200 equal to B. To get A, substitute B equal to 200 into equation 2. This is equation 2. You replace B with 200. If you transfer it to the left, you have this expression, and 100 is equal to A. With this, you can state the formula connecting the cost and time in this form. Now you are asked to get cost when the time t is 3. You simply recall the formula that is connecting the cost and the time, and you replace t with 3. So you have 100 plus 600, and that is 700 naira, the cost for 3-hour service. D is the correct option. Question 20. Find the gradient of a line joining the points. Now, this is the gradient formula. This is the first ordered pair. -5 is S1, -6 is Y1. 5 here is S2, -2 is Y2. If you replace everything in the formula, you have these results. That simplifies to this. You have 4/10, which reduces to 2/5. B is the correct option. Question 21. Given that you have statement E, A, B, C, D is a rhombus. Statement F, A, B, C, D is a rectangle. Statement H, A, B, C, D is a square. Which of the following statements represents A and F if and only if H? So this symbol is and, while this is for biconditional statement, if and only if. So the first part shows and, that is rhombus and rectangle, if and only if square. Going by the option, what you have is A, B, C, D is a square if and only if it is a rhombus and a rectangle. So option D satisfy the statement. Option B. Question 22. Solve the simultaneous equations 2a plus 3b equal to 5, 2a plus b equal to 1. You can use the method of elimination or substitution, but I'm going to solve using elimination method. To eliminate a, since it has the same coefficient in both equations, you need to subtract both equations. If you subtract, you have 2b equal to 4. This implies that b is equal to 2 if you divide through by 2. To get a, you have to substitute a equal to 2 into any of the equations. I'm using equation 2. This is equation 2. You replace b with 2. If you transfer plus b to the right hand side, you have 2a equal to 1 minus 12 minus 2, 1 minus 2. 2a is equal to minus 1. Divide both sides by 2. A becomes minus 1 over 2. You have the two results. By this, B is the correct option. Question 23. Solve the equation 2s minus 1 over 2 minus 3s minus 2 over 3 equal to s over 2. Solution. This is the given equation multiplied through by the LCM of 6 to clear fractions. If you multiply this term by 6, you have 3 remaining, multiplying the numerator. For the second term, you have this, and the right hand side, you have this result. Open the first bracket with 3, second with minus 2. You have this result equal to 3s. If you add the like terms in the left hand side, you have 1 equal to 3s. To get s, divide both sides by 3. So s is equal to 1 over 3. D is the correct option. Question 24. Determine the equation whose product and sum of the roots are minus 4.5 and minus 3.2 respectively. Going by the question, the product is minus 1 minus 4.5 and the sum of roots minus 3.2. Such equation can be obtained using this simple rule. Sum of roots is this, product of roots is this. When you simplify by removing the brackets, you have this result. For us to get the correct answer, you need to multiply through by 10 to clear fractions. In other words, to change the decimal numbers to whole numbers. When you do that, you have 10s squared plus 32s minus 45 equal to 0. C is the correct option. Question 25. If P such that S is an even number, Q such that S is a multiple of 3, what does negation P and Q stand for? Let us get P and Q first. P and Q simply means that S is an even number and a multiple of 3. Negation is the opposite or reverse. So it means negation or opposite of this. So S is an even number and a multiple of 3. The opposite becomes it is false that S is even and a multiple of 3. Considering all the options, D is the correct option. Question 26. Solve the inequality S less than S over 3 plus 4. Solution. This is the given inequality. Multiply through by 3 to clear fraction. You have 3s less than s plus 12. If you transfer plus s to the left, you have 3s minus s less than 12. You have 2s less than 12. Divide through by 2. S is less than 6. B is the correct option. Question 27. Simplify a squared minus 4a plus 3 over a squared minus a minus 3. You need to factorize both the numerator and denominator. If you carry out the factorization, you have this result. After common factors are cancelled out, you have a minus 1 over a plus 2. You can check my teachings on quadratic equation. Question 28. The roots of a quadratic equation are minus 2 and 1 over 3. Find the equation. Such equation can be obtained using this simple rule. Let us get sum of roots by adding the two roots together. That gives minus 5 over 3. Let's get product of roots by multiplying the two roots. You have minus 2 over 3. Put together, you have this result. If you open the bracket, minus minus becomes plus, and plus minus is minus. That is what you have here. You need to multiply through by 3 to clear the fractions. So you have 3s squared plus 5s minus 2 equal to 0. D is the correct option. Question 29. If s varies inversely as y and s is equal to 4 and y is equal to 3, find the value of s when y is 2. Solution. This is the given problem. Okay, here is y squared. The problem is y varies inversely as the square, s varies inversely as the square of y. That is what you have here. In variation, we always replace the symbol of variation with equality sign. As you are doing that, you introduce the constant of variation to multiply the term in the right hand side in this form. If you clear fraction, you have k equal to sy squared. The reason why s is 4 and y is 3 is to enable you find k first. So k is equal to 4 times 3 squared. That is 4 times 9 equal to 36. Now that k is known, you cannot get the formula connecting s and y. You simply come here and you replace k with 36. You are asked to find s when y is 2. You go to the formula connecting s and y and you replace y with 2 in order to get s. So s is equal to 36 over 2 square. That is 36 over 4, and you have 9. B is the correct option. Question 30. Make B the subject of the formula D equal to square root of AB over C minus C squared B. This is the given problem. Let us start by removing the square root sign. You do that by squaring both sides. So this square is equal to the right hand side without the square root sign. Multiply through by c to clear fractions. So you have cd square. If you multiply this term by c, you are left with ab. You multiply this term by c, you have c cube b. From the right hand side, you can factor out b. To get b, divide both sides by the coefficient of b, that is a minus c cube. Therefore, b is equal to cd squared over a minus c cube. A is the correct option. Question 31. If you such that I like bread with butter, v such that I like lemon for tea. Translate: I like lemon for tea, but not bread with butter. This not here means negation, the opposite, but can be seen as and. For this is the correct option. I like lemon for tea and not bread with butter. Use the graph below to answer questions 32 and 33. So let's take 32. Determine the solutions of the curve. First, let us get the scale. The scale on the x-axis is 1 cm to 1 unit. 1 cm to 1 unit. By this, one line is equal to 0.2. 0.2. Now, the 1 cm is 5 lines to 1 unit. To get one line, divide 1 by 5. That is 0.2. On the y-axis, 2 cm to 5 units. 2 cm to 5 units. Now, the solutions are the points of intersection of the curve and the x-axis. This is one point of intersection. This is another point of intersection. Now, the first point, you have it as minus 1.4. That is the second line after minus 1. Because one line is 0.2, you have minus 1.4. Then this other point is between 3.4 and 3.6. So in between is 3.5. So the correct option is C. Question 33. Find the minimum value of y. That is somewhere here. Now, the scale on the y-axis is 2 cm to 5 units. That implies that one line is 0.5, or two lines together is 1. Two lines together is 1. So you have minus 5.1 as the minimum value of y. B is the correct option. Question 34. If cos alpha is equal to 3/5 and 0 degrees less than alpha less than 90 degrees, evaluate 3 cos alpha minus 2 sin alpha. Already cos alpha is known, but we need sin alpha. This cos alpha is the ratio of adjacent to hypotenuse, and sine alpha is the ratio of opposite to hypotenuse, meaning opposite is needed. You use the information about cosine to get sine. By this, you draw a right angle triangle with the acute angle alpha. The side facing alpha is opposite unknown, that is S. This is adjacent, the longest side, or the side facing the right angle is the hypotenuse. By Pythagoras rule, you have it that 5 squared is equal to s squared plus 3 squared. If you simplify and you transfer the respective terms, you have this result: s squared is equal to 16 and s is equal to square root of 16, and that is 4. Therefore, sine alpha, that is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, becomes 4 over 5. So let's compute this expression. 3 times cos alpha, that is 3 times 3 over 5, minus 2 sine alpha, that is 2 times 4 over 5. That simplifies to this. You have like fractions, you have to subtract the numerators over 5, and you have 1 over 5. A is the correct option. Question 35. The bearing of y and z from S are 061 degrees, that is the first quadrant, and 110 degrees respectively. Calculate SY, calculate YZ. If SY is 3 cm, SZ is 5 cm. Correct your answer to 2 significant figures. Solution. This diagram represents the information. Now, from here to here, 61. If from here to here is 110, this remaining angle is 110 minus 61 degrees, and that is 049 degrees. You are asked to find YZ. Since this angle is not 90 degrees, you cannot use Pythagoras rule because the resulting triangle is not right-angled triangle. So this is the cosine rule. You should know that this side you are looking for, the angle facing it is known. That is why you are able to use cosine rule. You replace the respective sides with what they stand for. If you simplify, you have this result. If you add and multiply, you have this. After subtraction, you have 14.317. To get YZ, you check the square root of this result, and that is 3.78378. To 3SF, to 2SF, you have 3.8 centimeters. B is the correct option. Question 36. The curved surface area of a hemisphere is 7,700 square centimeters. Find its diameter. Solution. The radius is needed to get diameter, since diameter is equal to 2 times radius. For a hemisphere, the curved surface area is 2 pi r squared. This is the surface area. equal to 2 times pi 22/7 times arrow squared, multiply through by 7 to clear the fraction. To get arrow squared first, divide through by the product of 2 and 22. So arrow squared is equal to this. That simplified to this, and you have 1225. To get arrow, you take the square root of 1225, and that is 35. Therefore, diameter is equal to 2 times radius, and that is 2 times 35. You have 70 centimeters. C is the correct option. Question 37. In the figure below, PQ is a diameter of the circle PSQR with center O. If angle PQS equal to 65 degrees, find angle QRS. That is this angle. Now, to get this angle, you need this angle, and to get that angle, you need this angle. Since PQ is a diameter, it means that angle PSQ is equal to 90 degrees. Angle in a semicircle. In triangle PSQ, we want to get this angle. You add the three angles, and the sum is equal to 180 degrees. Two of the angles are known in this form. If you add, you get this result. If you transfer this one to the right hand side, P is equal to 180 degrees minus 155 degrees. P is equal to 25 degrees. In other words, angle SPQ. This angle is SPQ, 25 degrees, and is equal to QRS. Angles in the same segment. E is the correct option. Question 38. In the diagram below, MKLN is a cyclic quadrilateral, and the diagonals ML and KN intersect at S. If angle NML equal to 40 degrees and MSK equal to 80 degrees, calculate angle MLK. That is this angle. Now, if you look at SM and LK, if you draw these two lines, they cannot meet. That means they are parallel. If they are parallel, you can take ML as transversal section. For that reason, this angle is equal to 40 degrees. Alternate angles. D is the correct option. Question 39. Find the y-intercept of the line 4y plus 3s minus 2 equal to 0. To find the y-intercept, you solve for y by letting s equal to 0 in the given line. So if this term is 0, you transfer minus 2 to the right hand side. You have 4y equal to 2. Divide through by 4, y is equal to 1/2. Or you write the equation in the form of y equal to ms plus c, where c is the intercept on the y-axis. If you transform this equation to this form, you have this result, which simplifies to this, and this is the y-intercept, the same 1 over 2. D is the correct option. Question 40. The angle of a sector of a circle is 295 degrees. If the area of the sector is 35.2 square centimeters, calculate its radius to 2 decimal places. This is the formula for the area of a sector. The area and the angles are known. You replace them in this form. If you simplify by reducing this term, you have these results. You have to multiply through by 72 times 7 in order to clear the fractions in this form. To get arrow square first, divide both sides by the product of 59 and 22. So arrow squared is equal to this. To get arrow, you take the square roots of both sides, so arrow is equal to this. If you divide the terms under the square root and check the square root at the same time, you have 3.696993. To 2 decimal places, you have 3.70 centimeters. C is the correct option. Question 41. Find the angle between two straight lines whose slopes or gradients are 4 and 5, correct to 1 decimal place. Such an angle is expressed in this form. So M2 is the gradient of the second line, that is 5, and M1 is the gradient of the first line, that is 4. You have it in this form. If you subtract this, you have 1. You multiply this, you have 20, plus 1, you have 21. This symbol is the symbol of absolute value. What it does is that if your answer is negative, it converts it to positive. So if you divide, and if your answer is positive, it remains the same. It does not convert positive to negative, only negative to positive. If you divide 1 by 21, you have this result. To get alpha, you take the inverse of tangent of this value, and that is 2.7263 degrees. To 1 decimal place, you have 2.7 degrees. C is the correct option. Question 42. If the radius of parallel of latitude is 4,500 kilometers, find the latitude correct to the nearest degree. To the nearest degree. Solution. The latitude of a place is measured in degrees north or south of the equator, which varies from 90 degrees north to 90 degrees south. Range from 0 to 90 degrees. This is the formula for the radius of parallel of latitude. That radius is 4,500. This is the radius of the earth, that is 6,400 times cos alpha. If you make cos alpha the subject, you have to divide through by 6,400, and that gives this. To get alpha, you take the inverse of cosine of this value, and that is 45.3218 degrees. To the nearest degree, you have 45 degrees north or south. C is the correct option. Question 43. In the diagram below, MNO is a tangent to the circle. Calculate angle PNO. That is this angle like this, PNO. You know part of it as 45 degrees already. Now, this remaining angle is equal to this angle, angles in alternate segments. Therefore, angle PNO is equal to 45 degrees plus 52 degrees, and that is 97 degrees. C is the correct option. Question 44. A sphere has a radius of 7 cm. Find its surface area. Surface area of sphere is equal to 4 pi r squared. That is 4 times 22 over 7 times r squared. That is 7 squared. If you reduce this, you have 4 times 22 times 7, and that is 616 square centimeters as the surface area of the sphere. A is the correct option. Question 45. Calculate the perimeter of a sector whose radius is 21 cm and its angle at center is 150 degrees. This is the formula for the perimeter of sector. You replace arrow with 21 and theta by 150 degrees in this form. If you simplify, 2 times 21, 42 plus. If you reduce this term, you have 5 over 12. If you divide 21 by 7, you have 3. 2 times 22, you have 44. That simplifies to this and this. And finally, you have 97 centimeters as the perimeter of the sector. Question 46. Find the equation of a line that passes through the point 1, 2, whose gradient is 1 over 3. Solution. The required equation is this. Now, you need to use the given point. This point implies s equal to 1, y equal to 2, and the gradient as well to get c, intercept on y axis. So you come here, you replace y with 2, you replace s with 1, and the gradient with 1 over 3 in order to get c. This term is 1 over 3. If you transfer it to the right, to the left, you have this result. If you simplify, c is equal to 5 over 3. The required equation is this. After replacing m and c with their respective values, you have this result. Multiply through by 3 to clear fractions, you have this result. Going by the options, you need to transfer s to the left hand side, and you have 3y minus s equal to 5. D is the correct option. Question 47. Calculate the area of a circle of radius 3.96 cm, leaving your answer in 2SF. The area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. That is 22/7 times 3.69 squared, which simplifies to this, and you have this. After division, you have this result. So 2SF, you have 43 square centimeters. E is the correct option. Question 48. Calculate the circumference of the parallel of latitude 60 degrees south correct to 3SF. Solution. Circumference on its own is 2 pi r. Now, parallel of latitude, the radius is radius of the earth times cos alpha. So if you replace this small arrow by the product of the radius of the earth and cos alpha, circumference becomes this. So you have 22. 2 times 22/7 times 6,400 times cos 60 degrees. Alpha is the angle of latitude. This simplifies to this value. Cos 60 degrees is 0.5. That is 1/2. If you multiply and divide, you have this result. So 3SF, we are interested in 201 3SF. The first three non-zero numbers from the left. The next number is 1 less than 5. You round it down to 0. So you have 20,100 kilometers. B is the correct option. Question 49. Find the mean score of 10 students if the variance of their scores is 18 and summation fs squared equal to 2040. This is the variance formula. When expanded, you get this result, and what you have here is the mean. So you have the mean squared. The variance is 8. Summation of fs squared 2014. You have 10 students. That is summation of frequency is 10 minus mean squared. So mean squared is equal to, when you transfer this now, it becomes positive. If you divide this, you have 204. If you transfer plus this, it becomes minus. When you subtract, you have 196. So mean is equal to square root of 196, and that is 14. C is the correct option. Question 50. The mean of 5 numbers is 6. If the numbers are 1, 6, S, 8, 7, what is the mode? Before the mode, S is needed, which can only be determined using the information about the mean. Mean is equal to summation S over N for ungrouped data. That is data without frequency. The mean is 6. So we take each number as s. If you add together, you have it in this form. You have 5 numbers, that means n is 5. Multiply through by 5 to clear fraction, and at the same time add the like terms in the numerator. You have this result. If you transfer 22 to the left, it becomes 30 minus 22 equal to s, which implies that s is equal to 8. The numbers are 16887. Mode is the number that occur most frequently, or the number with the highest frequency, that is 8. Therefore, the mode is 8. E is the correct option. Question 51. Which of the following is not a measure of dispersion? Solution. If you are familiar with the various measures in statistics, you have measures of central tendency or location, and they are mean, mode, and median. And you have measures of dispersion, which include range, mean deviation, you have variance, standard deviation, you have the various quartile, interquartile, and thereabouts. By this, median is a measure of central tendency, so it is not a measure of dispersion. B is the correct option. Question 52. The standard deviation of the ages of 10 students is 1.2. What is the variance? Solution. Standard deviation is the positive square root of the variance. You have it in this form. From the question, the standard deviation is 1.2 equal to square root of variance. To get variance, you need to square both sides. You have it in this form, and the variance becomes 1.44. The correct option is E. Use the cumulative frequency curve below to answer questions 53 to 55. Question 53. Find the median value. Solution. Median is half of the cumulative frequency. If you are familiar with the construction of cumulative frequency curve, the last point on the curve corresponds to the highest cumulative frequency. If you trace that point to the cumulative frequency axis, you have it as 51, not 60. If you trace 60, 60 has no relation with the curve. So median is 1/2 times 51, and that is 25.5 position of the cumulative frequency. The scale used is 2 centimeters to 10 units. 2 centimeters to 10 units. That simply means that one line is 1 unit. One line is 1 unit. So 25.5 is in between 25 and 26. That is somewhere here. If you trace to the curve, you have the point of intersection, and you trace down to the upper class boundary axis. If you check the upper class boundary axis, the difference between any 2 points there is 10. So this is 10.5 to 20.5. Therefore means that one line is 1 as well. So from 10.5 you have 11.5, 12.5 till you get to 20.5. From the curve, the median is 31.5. Such answer is not in the option. The one close to it is 30.5. That becomes option C. Question 54, calculate the sixth decile. Now, decile divides the whole distribution into 10 equal parts. Therefore, sixth decile is 6 over 10 times cumulative frequency. You have it in this form, and that is 30.6. To the nearest whole number, you have the 31st position. 31st position. From the cumulative frequency axis, you locate the 31st position. That is the first line after 30. You trace it to the curve and you trace to the upper class boundary axis, and that gives 35.55, approximately 36.0. By this, the correct option is B. Question 55, determine the 80th percentile. Now, percentile divides the whole distribution into 100 equal parts. Therefore, the 80th percentile is simply 80 over 100 times cumulative frequency. That gives this result, and you have 40.8. To the nearest whole number, you have 41 position of the cumulative frequency. From the curve, you locate the 40, that is the 41 position, 41 position of the cumulative frequency. So you come here, after 40 you have 41. The first line after 40, you trace it to the curve that is somewhere here, and you trace to the upper class boundary axis. If you do that correctly, you have 45.5 as the 80th percentile. By this, the correct option is C. Use the information below to answer questions 56 and 57. The table shows the age distribution of students in a school choir. You have the table containing age and frequency. Question 56, how many students are in the school choir? That is the addition of all the frequencies, and you have 20. The correct option is C. Question 57, what is the modal age? Solution. Modal age is the age with the highest frequency. The highest frequency is 6, and the age corresponding to frequency 6 is 15. Therefore, the modal age is 15 years. D is the correct option. Question 58. Differentiate 3s squared minus 7s minus 4 with respect to s. Solution. Differentiation, we are talking about change in one variable with respect to the other, precisely dependent and independent variable, and y in most cases is the dependent variable, which is equated to the function containing the independent variable s in most cases. Recall, by differentiation power rule, if y is equal to s power n, then dy ds, the change in y with respect to s, is equal to n times s to the power of n minus 1. So this is the given function. To differentiate the first term, you use power 2 to multiply 3s, you have 6s, and you subtract 1 from 2, you have 1. So you have 6s minus. If you come here and differentiate, the power of s is 1. So 1 times 7s, you have 7s. If you subtract 1 from 1, you have power 0. S power 0 is 1. So you have minus 7 remaining. Now 4 is a constant. The differential of a constant is 0. So your result is 6s minus 7. The correct option is D. Question 59. If y is equal to s, bracket open, s cube minus s plus 1, bracket close, command, evaluate integral over the limit minus 1 of y ds. Solution. This is the given function. You need to expand the right hand side using s against each term in the bracket, and you have s power 4 minus s squared plus s. Recall that the integration rule for algebraic functions is integral s power n ds equal to s to the power of n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c, the constant of integration. This rule only works when n is not equal to 1. But when we are dealing with definite integral involving limit, you don't add the constant of integration. If you decide to add it at the end after evaluation, it will cancel off. So this is what you are asked to evaluate. You replace y with what it stands for. You integrate s power 4. You simply add 1 to power 4, it becomes power 5, and you divide by 5 in this form. If you integrate the second term by adding power 1 to 2 and divide by the sum of the powers, you have this result. And the last term, you have s squared over 2. This is the given limit. When evaluating definite integral, you write the result first. You start with the upper limit 1. So you replace s with 1 in this form. The sign we use to separate the two limits is minus. Then you write the result again and replace s with the lower limit in this form. If you simplify the first bracket, you have this result. Second bracket, you have this result. If you simplify further, precisely minus against minus become plus. So you have this result. So this term now is plus because of the minus against minus. If you find the LCM of the denominators and simplify respectively, you have this result. After addition and subtraction, the first bracket becomes 11 over 30 minus second bracket 19 over 30. Now you have like fractions. You simply add the numerators because you have the same denominators, that is 30. So you have 11 minus 19 over 30. That simplifies to minus 8 over 30, and you have minus 4 over 15. By this, A is the correct option. Question 60. What is the value of integral over the limit 0, 1 of 1 minus 2s in bracket all squared ds? This is just like question 59. So you have the given problem. Before you integrate, you need to simplify this function, and because there is power of 2, you write it twice. After expansion, you have this result. You add like terms and you have this result. Next thing is to integrate. If you integrate a constant, it attracts the variable you are working with. So if you integrate 1, it becomes 1s, simply written as s. If you integrate this from my usual or previous explanation, you have 4s squared plus 2. If you integrate this, you have 4s cubed over 3 over the given limit. If you simplify this term, you have this result. Next thing is to evaluate using 1 first, the upper limit, before 0, the lower limit. You write the whole result and replace s with 1. The operator is minus. You write the result again and replace s with 0. Everything here becomes 0. You are left with this. When you simplify by evaluating the powers, you have this result. If you treat these whole numbers, you have minus 1 plus 4 over 3. If you write this as over 1, the LCM is 3, and you have this result, which simplifies to 1 over 3. The correct option is D. To end this paper, there is every need for you to be saved. If you are not to be saved, you have to give your life to the Lord Jesus Christ and confess him as your Lord and personal Savior every day of your life. If you are saved already, congratulations. Live righteously and be prepared, because on the last day, some will be taken and some will be left. Take good care of yourself. Stay out of trouble. Study your books. Do the needful at all times. Flee every appearance of evil. Don't defraud others to make money. Use your hands and your brain to work genuinely and legally, and the Lord will bless you. Goodbye and stay tuned.